In a city where the nights were brighter than the day, there lived a man. Everyone simply called him the Knight. He did not wear an iron armor, he wore a tailored suit, a smart watch, a fast car. When you looked at him, you saw success, appointments, goals, responsibility. What nobody saw was his foot and the stone in his shoe. At the beginning the stone was small, a gentle rubbing, a barely noticeable pull. This will go away by itself, the Knight thought. He kept walking, faster, further. One more project, one more meeting, one more call. But the stone stayed, and with every day the path became harder. Sometimes, when he was finally alone at night, he felt the pain more clearly. Then he took off his shoe, looked at it for a second, and put it on again. "Stop being so weak," said an inner voice. "Other people carry much more." This was how the first poison began, the poison of self-contempt. The Knight became harder with himself, stricter. He allowed himself no tears, no weakness, no sentence like, "It hurts." But the harder he became, the more sensitive the pain became. So he reached for the second poison. When it grew too loud inside, he opened his phone, scrolled, watched videos, read the news. He worked longer, he filled every gap so that the pain would have no voice. Later he would call this poison numbing. The third poison came slowly. On especially heavy days he thought, if my boss were different, if my family were more understanding, if this world did not press me so much, then I would not have this stone. He became bitter towards the world, towards people, towards life. Years passed like this. Every morning the Knight got up, put on his shoe, and the stone was there. One day, after an especially long day, he missed the last train. He decided to walk out of the city just to clear his head. He walked and walked until the lights of the city behind him became smaller. In front of him lay a path he had never noticed before, a narrow path leading between old trees towards a clearing. The Knight was tired, too tired to think. He was trying the path. The forest became quieter, the air cooler, and somewhere ahead he heard water. When they came around the last bend, he stopped. In front of him lay a garden, as if from another land. Roses, lavender, old olive trees, and in the middle of it, a house that did not touch the ground. It floated just above a deep gorge, like the house from his dreams, a John without a foundation. On a stone by the path sat a woman in a long, soft orange dress. Her hair fell gently over her shoulders. She said nothing. When they came closer, the Knight sat down beside her. He did not know why, but for the first time in a very long time, he kept silent. The pain in his foot had become unbearable. The woman looked at his boots, then they looked at him. "How long have you been wearing it?" she asked quietly. "Wearing what?" he asked. She pointed at his shoe. "The stone." He wanted to joke. He wanted to say, "Oh, that is nothing." But her eyes were so calm that the mask inside him slipped. "I don't know anymore," he said at last. "Maybe years, maybe once the both." For a while they just sat. Then some secrets become smaller when you've at them. The Knight took a deep breath, and for the first time, as long as he could remember, he took off his boot. His foot of sore, hardened, tender. Care for small, unspectacular look to his back, though the more it seemed to change. On its surface words appeared, as if they had always been there. unloved sadness, ex-unlived life. The knight swallowed. I always thought I canst have to become stronger. His Mang, you don't need to become harder, the proper need, to become more honest. The Nather, care the his to mind over the choose. It your were night. A bore during his tone, are these that nobody would bought them, a working whom his young him camp with them, fighting against about because of blamen that you wake for of. This tones to fine, maybe none the life that is softly, the stone like a small inner candle. Now the woman stood up. She walked a few steps and came back with a small box. She opened it slowly, as if she was showing something very precious. Inside lay a card. She handed it to the knight. He took it carefully into his hand. On the front he saw an image. A knight in the garden of Villa Brunoli. A man in armor, sitting on a bench, boot taken off, holding a glowing stone in his hand. He needed a moment to understand. He himself was that knight. At the top of the card it said, Soul Compass, Fairy Tale 2. Underneath he read, The Knight's Stone in the Shoe. The knight's gaze became softer. The woman pointed to the back of the card. Turn it around, she said quietly. He turned the card and began to read. At the top it said, Pillar 1, meaning, then big and clear, meaning in pain. Below stood a question. What might this pain be trying to tell you, instead of only hurting you? And a small task. Today, choose one small pain in your body or your soul. Sit with it for 5 quiet minutes and write down one honest message it carries for you. The knight held the card in his hand for a long time. He felt this card was not only a picture, it was an invitation, not only for him, but for everyone who feels their own stone in the shoe. This card, the woman said, is your mirror, and at the same time a signpost for all men and women who recognize themselves in your story. The knight took a deep breath. For the first time, he saw his pain, not only inside of him, but also outside, as an image, as a sentence, as a path. Carefully, he placed the card beside him, close enough to see it, close enough to remember. Then he stood up. Together they walked to the edge, where the earth broke off. Below them, the depth. In front of them, the floating house. The knight looked at the stone still in his hand, then at his house. I am afraid, he said. That is all right, she answered. Courage does not mean to have no fear. Courage means to take the next honest step with a beating heart. The knight knelt down and gently placed the stone at the edge of the gorge. In the moment when the stone touched the ground, something changed. Not dramatic, no fireworks, but the edges of the gorge became clearer, more solid, as if the abyss had received its first small piece of support. The knight felt that the pain was still there, but different. It was no longer against him, it was at his side. The woman picked up the card again and put it into his hand. You will need it, she said, not as a magic charm, but as a reminder. A reminder that pain does not only destroy, it can also show you where your foundation is still missing, and where you are invited to become more true to yourself. The knight nodded. And what do I do tomorrow? He asked. The woman smiled. Tomorrow, she said,
You put on your shoes, as you do every day. You go out into your world. You do what has to be done. And at some point, you will feel the stone again. Maybe not in your shoe, but in your heart. Then you remember that you are not the pain. You are the one who may decide what to do with this pain. You can use it as poison or as a compass. This choice no one can take from you. The knight looked at the card one last time. Soul compass, fairy tale 2. The knight's stone in the shoe. He placed it carefully in his pocket. Then he started his way back to the city. His tasks were still waiting, his relationships, his old patterns. But something inside him was no longer the same. The stone in his shoe had become a stone in the foundation, and with every step he felt a little more that even in pain, a quiet meaning can be hidden if we find the courage to look, to listen, and to place the first small stone consciously.